started.
Right. And make me co-host so I can let the people enter as they come in. Please, sir.
Oh, yeah, let's just do that since I'm doing the streaming. Make co-host. Okay. You're co-host now.
Got it. Thank you.
And now you should be seeing me and Chris again. And I'm back, Chris. All right, we're about to start recording for anyone. If anyone's coming in, no one's coming in yet.
No, sir.
All right, we're about to start the recording, so that's perfect. We might go a little late with this, but I'm going to go ahead and press record on my platform, and we're recording our podcast episode. Ready to begin our episode. Make everything bigger here so I can read everything nicely. Get that out of the way. I caught something and I've been a walking fluid the last day or so. Get all these fluids out of me. But we're recording. We're good in Zoom. We're streaming on. And if you heard that, sorry. It's for the YouTube stream. Welcome to Keeping It Real podcast. I'm Sweet Tea, and I talk with people weekly, monthly about technology, what supports you, what holds you back. We talk it all. We dive deep into the intersection of technology and the human experience. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with Christopher Williams, who is a longtime Toastmaster coming in today. That's why we're producing this episode for a Toastmasters workshop. Our discussion today will center around the topic of what supports and does not support us in technology, as we live in a world where technology is increasingly intertwined with our daily lives. It's important to understand how it affects us and what we can do to navigate it better. Together, we'll explore Chris's personal experiences and insights, as well as practical tips and strategies that can help us make the most of our relationship with technology. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the fascinating world of technology and the human psyche. Start out real quick. I want to just dive into a definition of the word technology. Technology refers to the tools, techniques, and systems that are used to create, develop, and improve products and services. It encompasses everything from physical devices and software to processes and methodologies. Technology is an ever-changing field and is constantly changing and advancing, and has become an integral part of our daily lives. Its impact can be seen in every aspect of our society, from communication and entertainment to business and healthcare. But before I go on and get into our conversation with Chris about technology, I want to give a shout out to an organization that's been helping me over the last decade, Toastmasters. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit organization that helps individuals improve their public speaking, communication, and leadership skills with over 16,000 clubs in 143 countries. Toastmasters is the perfect place to develop your skills and become a more effective communicator and leader. Join a Toastmasters club today and start your journey to success. And with that, I'd love to introduce to the show technology fellow technology enthusiast, Toastmaster member Christopher Williams. Welcome to the show, Chris. To start out, what first of all, a few questions. What get to know for the fans' experience? What got you so much into technology? Get her done. I love it. And just to get, I have a few questions here to advance our conversation and all, but we're gonna get into the best piece of technology and the essentially the worst piece of technology. But start out, how has technology changed the way we communicate or you communicate with each other, and what impact has this had on relationships? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. And you mentioned District 50, D50. Toastmasters, for those who may not know, in the Dallas area, not DFW, but Dallas and parts of East Texas and Shreveport, Louisiana. That's when he mentions D50. That's where that's coming from. I want to just get out and ask this question right away. You mentioned a little bit isolating. Do you think technology is making us more connected or isolated? Right. The old adage, don't too much of anything is never good, right? Too much of ice cream is never good. Too much technology, but a little bit can support your life in big ways, big drastic ways. But when you start being dependent on it is when it becomes a problem, an issue. Mm, yeah. Hmm. One more question before I get into the meat of our conversation. What ethical concerns you mentioned started to, and this is great segue into this. What ethical concerns do you have about the way technology is currently being used, and how do you think these can be addressed? Allow this camera, allow this everywhere. You have to allow permissions everywhere you go. Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
indeed.
just did.
Mm. All right. So now let's get into it. Why we're all why we came here to this episode. What it's what is the best piece of technology that you have used in your life that supports you the best? Yeah, it becomes a like a almost a way of life almost, but you can easily just find yourself just getting immersed in it and find yourself depending on it, like going back to depending on it maybe too much. But knowing when to step back, I do. I haven't done one in a while, but like a detox where I just do a detox day and I leave my phone home and I just go out, and rewarding itself when you can just step away, leave your phone behind, and so the second question of the piece, what is the technology? And you mentioned it before we started recording. Maybe it's that, but what is the technology that you wish either never existed or care never to see or use again? Hmm. 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 Yeah, and I'm kind of in that same boat. I consider one of the earliest millennials where I've seen the both worlds before and then after when it's happened, and so I can kind of see that because I went to school without phones. Essentially, we had this simple flip phone in the later part of my school career. So I can totally see non-technology world, and then after maybe about 2005 2006. So I'm that millennial that saw both. Mm. Moving one last question, then I get to some bonus questions, and we'll wrap this up. And we can move you back into the Zoom after this. But one last question here: how do you think we talked about the past? How do you think technology is going to change the world in the next 10 years? And what are you most excited or worried about? Mm. And in that already being done, like with the whole Facebook out, I hear some things being done, kind of. Mm. It's you, but it's not you. It's how you think. It's how you act, react, behaviors, but physical, maybe not. Maybe in sometime in the future too. Hmm. Hmm. And I'd like to continue more of this conversation, but maybe for another day when we can have a little good dive a little deeper into this. This has been great so far. But one final question, bonus question here. I like to add at least one bonus question for my first podcast experience and inspiration. Lewis House, the School of Greatness, as you saw before. That's my first podcast I ever listened to. And it's my inspiration for this podcast, by the way. Just got to throw that shout out in there. What is your definition of innovation? Again, it was great. That's Chris Williams on innovation. It was great conversation. I hope to have it back on again to go dive deeper. I'll let you go and exit the studio here and come back into the Zoom so we can continue our workshop. And thanks again. This was fun. All right, I stopped recording. And if I'm unmuted, Naomi, Chris should be coming back into the Zoom now.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. I'll let you know when he returns.
So give me at least maybe a 5-minute, and we can proceed with the rest. I guess there's not a lot of people here tonight.
Okay. Thank you for joining us tonight, Deborah. We just finished the recording portion of the podcast. Remember, we are doing this live. And Mr. Chris so graciously agreed to serve as the individual to volunteer and provide Tommy with the opportunity to do a podcast live. Now, Mr. Chris is back, and in a few moments, we will move forward to the actual making, editing, etc. with the podcast. If you have any questions, this is the part this is the meat of what it is that we're doing. And be sure once again to reference that email that Tommy sent earlier this afternoon. All right, back to you, Tommy. We can't hear you, sir. There you go.
It helps to be off of mute. You take a sip.
Feel
So
free to put questions in the chat.
We just finished recording, and I'm currently downloading the episode, and getting an MP3. So while that's downloading, I can share my screen again. Which one? Share my desktop one. So that's where I'm downloading from. There's the episode here, and I could play just to play it here. Are you hearing everything? Ready to begin our episode. Make everything bigger here so I can read everything nicely. Get that out of the way. So I caught something and I've been a walking fluid the last day or so. Get all these fluids out of me.
That's the weather changing.
But we're recording. We're good in Zoom. We're streaming on. And if you heard that, sorry. It's for the YouTube stream. Welcome to Keeping It Real podcast. Me, I'm Sweet Tea. last day or so. He's fluid. We're streaming on, and if you heard that, sorry, it's for the YouTube stream. Welcome. Welcome to Keeping It Real podcast. Me, I'm Sweet Tea, and I talk.
I mean, we get pi computed to an almost infinite number of numbers. We have so many other things that can be done now with technology. It's almost limitless, and it's a little scary because of that.
Again, it was great. That's Chris Williams on innovation. It was great conversation. I hope to have back on again to go dive deeper. I'll let you go and exit the studio here and come back into the Zoom so we can continue our workshop. And thanks again. This was fun.
Okay, thank you so much. Good talking to you. Good talking to you.
Welcome to Keeping It.
Okay.
I'm on mute. Chris, what's your home club? So I'm gonna put that link to your home club in there.
Okay. The link to my home club is Allen Toastmasters.
Okay. I can just look for that here. Oh, that's Facebook.
5055.
I don't want the Facebook link. I'll just get the where it's on Find My Clubs. I'll just get the link to that.
Okay.
Oh, Toastmasters International is working slowly right now. There we go. Club not found.
Oh,
Speak Up Alan. It's not finding a bunch of clubs.
it is, but there is only one Allen Toastmasters. The number is small enough, you know that. 0005055. Smaller the number, the older the club.
There might be an issue. No, oh, there you go. Finally. Taking a bit
Yes.
of time. There we go. Finally. So, and then so show notes are ready.
Wow.
So you saw the show notes there. So now I'm gonna go new episode in my platform episode upload.
Hmm.
Upload audio. And I trim the video. Episode. I just realized get info. Ready to begin our episode. Make everything bigger here so I can read everything nicely. Bigger here. Get that out of the way. So I caught something and I've been a walking fluid the last day or so. I just realized I had to trim the audio fluids out of
clip.
We're recording. We're good in Zoom. We're streaming on, and if you heard that, sorry, it's for the YouTube stream. Welcome to Keeping It Real podcast. Me, I'm Sweet Tea, and I talk with people weekly, monthly about technology. What is it called? Podcast workshop. There we go. 120. Get info. There we go. I'm using iTunes to set the start time of the audio clip. Speaking with Christopher. A little too soon.
A tour de force view of technology.
With people weekly, monthly about technology, what support. I'm just trying to find the best spot to begin, and I thought it was around there, but it's not that. But we're recording. We're good in Zoom. We're streaming on, and if you heard that, sorry, it's for the YouTube stream. Welcome to Keeping It Real. 55. That's it. Thought I saw something different. So it's 55. Welcome to Keeping It Real.
Almost infinite number. Let's
have to come back into this was fun. Again, this was fun. And we'll go there. So now we should be able to need to create I don't usually do this how I edit. I could probably just pick into my edit app. Export. Create MP3 version. It's been created. Still converting.
Okay, thank you so much. Good talking to you.
Welcome to Keeping It Real podcast. I'm Sweet Tea, and I talk with. All right, so I got it. I need to show it in Finder. There it is. Episode. Welcome to Podcast Workshop 1. So I can upload that, have it ready right there. Dragging that right to the workshop there. And there you go. It's uploading now. So now I go back to my notes where I had this all typed up. See from my notes here. Here's the title. Here's the description. And you can add you have, and most of the time you have a large space to add all this. So this is a full episode. I'm not been saying 4, and this is episode 4, clean. Podcast technology. General audio production. That just all the stuff doesn't matter. Now it's gonna take general artwork if I don't upload any artwork or anything. Available media on publish. Update ID 3 tags. And so there you go. It's ready to go. Ready to finalize. And that's uploading a podcast. And I just hit publish. And this will go out to Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcast, and a lot of other places where you may listen to podcasts. And there it is. With the
Got
links.
me worried now, Thomas.
So any questions with that? With the
all my creditors will find me.
well, your name is only in the description, so it won't. It's your name's not being indexed too much. So like Spotify usually takes right away, but it takes a day for Apple. Apple goes through like weird pros to approve content and everything, but I'm fine. There's School of Greatness, FYI. There's my podcast. It's not there yet. But usually it gets there like quickly. So yeah, it is episode 4. This is the last few in this new series that my last 4 episodes that I've uploaded, and it's available on Spotify there. That's how it looks on Spotify. Not a whole lot of people came, but we've Chris, Naomi, anything to questions? I can open up for some questions.
This is truly cutting edge.
If you can give a recap of the steps that you went through. Now, we saw how you were editing your introduction, your show notes and everything. So can you give a recap of that particular portion of the process?
Yeah, a recap of So I mentioned, well, before we got started, I mentioned AI, and I mentioned probably AI in the episode too. OpenAI, I've been using this quite significantly, a little more AI, and let's see, sometimes it's at capacity at usage, but this is like I said this. Where was this 20 years ago when I was looking to do homework? Right? It's you're asking a robot or something AI. I just how I come up with some questions. A lot of the questions I came up on my own too. But like there's if you're seeing my screen, there's a Toastmaster write up on. I just stopped because I asked for initially 15 minutes and I just wanted 15 seconds. And there's my Toastmasters plug that I read. What else? So I already typed something up. So I went to AI. Write a podcast show notes description. So there's a description. Okay. Give me an example of podcast show notes description page. So this may look familiar. So I just took what it gave me, I put it into my notes, edited it to say, oh, this is key points that we're going to talk about. Here's some links, and I always like to heavily shout out my guests. So I gave the link to Chris's home club, Toastmasters Club, Allen Toastmasters, and then Toastmasters link in general. So this is a podcast episode shouting out Toastmasters. And the first one is the link to the YouTube video that's currently live right now as well.
Mm.
So did that do the recap of the show notes part, Naomi?
Yes, it did. Thank you. Thank you, Tommy.
And there's all the questions. I bold-faced what the questions that stood out to me. How has technology changed the way we communicate with each other? Do you think that technology, and these are all the questions I asked Chris, making us more connected or isolated? And then I always like to ask bonus questions. So I had 3, but I asked Chris, what is the definition of innovation? And that's a good question for me to ask at the end of the episodes. And then here's again, that's where it's we call it in my industry that I work in, we call this a reader. Although I was on camera too, but we call it a reader. Where I was talking about everything good about Toastmasters. And here's my introduction that I also, again, thanks to AI, like I said, it's really addicting. And we mentioned in the episode, you got to know when to step away from technology, right? Because if you get too dependent on it, we talked about all this in the episode, right, Chris?
Amen.
But
I
like
might
this is,
add,
I could go use this like all night. This AI, like ask thought-provoking questions to ask people about technology. How has technology changed the way we communicate? Like there's so many things you can ask. Funny tech, good story, and it gave me a story. Actually, you can write a 1-page essay. Like that's where I was like, where was this when I was needing to do homework? Write a bio about me, everything about me. Technology enthusiast, video editor, live stream expert, digital media expert. Who's didn't know much about me. You have to like provide information because it actually does learn with input. So more input you give it. So like that's where I got the basis for these show notes, and I just edited it to customize for the episode. Is there anything else that I think I went on show notes a lot?
Deborah, do you have any questions? You're on mute, lady.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me know I was on mute. I thought I was kind of current with technology. I'm not that much into podcasting, and that's why I wanted to attend this meeting. So, and I missed the first one. So now I'm just trying to find everything that you just posted or uploaded to.
Well,
Thank-
no, everything's, and even this one, we're live right now too. It's on our leadership learning page, and it's currently live on there right now because we're live streaming currently.
Okay, so what is the page that I should be on? I went to Google Podcast and I see Keeping It Real podcast with Sweet Tea, Mark Wynn, Keeping It Real in the Film World with Sweet Tea.
I'm sharing my screen again. So District 50 webpage,
Okay.
leadership learning.
Oh, okay. So you uploaded it to Toastmasters.
And then
Okay.
there it is. It's live on the page right now. Part 2, taking action. That's our current video. And then if you want to see the other one, it's a list in the playlist. There's the part 1 right below.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I just posted the link in the chat as well.
Oh, thank you.
See if this is ready. But, oh, there it is. There's the episode. It's up on Spotify, Chris.
Excellent.
There it is.
Could this be the beginning of my film?
Welcome to Keeping It Real podcast. I'm Sweet Tea, and I talk with people weekly, monthly about technology, what supports you, what holds you back. We talk it all. We dive deep into the intersection of technology and the human experience. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with Christopher Williams, who is, and you can go listen to that, and actually I'll drop the link to that episode in the chat for all. Here's the episode on Spotify. If you want a specific if you want a specific one, let me know. That's the Spotify link to the episode. Apple if you want Apple, if you want Google, if you want Amazon, I'm on iHeartRadio.
Oh,
I want that link to the AI. I might have a few speeches that way.
AI, of course, it's chat.openai.com.
Chat. Chat. Dot.
And that's what
AI.
you if you log in, you can save all your searches. It's in the chat too.
AI.com. Okay.
I've-
Chat.ai.com.
Any questions? Find tech podcast guests. It gave me a script to do a documentary script. Like, this is nuts. But yeah, that's where it's available. So we're getting done before 8 o'clock. So I can. Any more questions? And I have at least till 8 o'clock.
Thomas, you
Can
have
you
done
tell us the web? I apologize. Go ahead, Mr. Chris.
I'm just saying you've done a splendid job, Thomas. I'll have to do this frequently to even get a grasp on it. Wow. Just nailed me.
Yes, sir. Can you go ahead, Tommy, can you share the websites that you use to work your podcast? I know one you sent in the email was StreamYard, and
There's Libsyn. There's StreamYard.
okay.
Again, OpenAI, there's there. The link to the Spotify episode is there. The link to where the episode is on the page is in the chat. What else? What else did I use?
think that was
YouTube,
it.
but like I set up everything from Libsyn to go to YouTube, so once you do that, you don't have to go to much places. You just upload to one and it gets it set for all.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
That could be maybe another thing another day, how to set up Libsyn for syndication. But that's going even deeper for podcasting. This is like the basic, get recording your episode, uploading your episode, and seeing it live on platforms.
Right.
Anything that maybe that I left off that maybe should be discussed.
I can't think of anything. I see Miss Deborah is feverishly making sure she's grabbing these notes. I don't blame
Yes, Tried to hurry up and do that.
No, you're fine, and you can always download the chat as well.
So I do.
Thank
Now,
you for the training.
I didn't think I would have time to do this, but like this is a nice free thing that handles syndication if you don't want to worry about any of that. Anchor, I talked about this in part 1. Free podcast. It's from Spotify. Free podcasting platform. Easiest way to create, distribute, and monetize if you want to monetize. So, and it's all done within this, and this it offers you way to promote Anchor, and it's just this Anchor sponsored ad before your episode starts, and that's
Okay.
how it's pretty much word of mouth. That's how they work, and you just sign in, sign up, switch to Anchor, ads by Anchor. Flexible options for every podcaster, opening monetization, save time and focus. There's some features that Anchor is. I don't use this, but I'll put this in the chat as a great place you can go to start with no real effort. You just record and upload, like kind of like what I did there. I don't have an account there, so I can't necessarily log in and like work through Anchor. Share it so you can see. That's the Anchor website. There I am on Amazon, and there's the episode on Amazon.
Okay. With Audible.
Yep, Audible, yeah.
Okay,
Upload one, it's there for all.
okay.
Excellent.
Welcome to Keeping It Real podcast. I'm Sweet Tea, and I talk with people weekly, monthly about technology, what supports you, what holds you back. We talk with it all. We dive deep into the intersection of technology and the human experience. I just think to play us out, I'll play the intro. You can go and listen to the entire episode, but I'll just play the intro. to this. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with Christopher Williams, who is a longtime Toastmaster coming in today. That's why we're producing this episode for a Toastmasters workshop. Our discussion today will center around the topic of what supports and does not support us in technology, as we live in a world where technology is increasingly intertwined with our daily lives. It's important to understand how it affects us and what we can do to navigate it better. Together, we'll explore Chris's personal experiences and insights, as well as practical tips and strategies that can help us make the most of our relationship with technology. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the fascinating world of technology and the human psyche. Start out real quick. I want to just dive into a definition of the word technology. Technology refers to the tools, techniques, and systems that are used to create, develop, and improve products and services. It encompasses everything from physical devices and software to processes and methodologies. Technology is an ever-changing field and is constantly changing and advancing, and has become an integral part of our daily lives. Its impact can be seen in every aspect of our society, from communication and entertainment to business and healthcare. But before I go on and get into our conversation with Chris about technology, I want to give a shout out to an organization that's been helping me over the last decade, Toastmasters. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit organization that helps individuals improve their public speaking, communication, and leadership skills with over 16,000 clubs in 143 countries. Toastmasters is the perfect place to develop your skills and become a more effective communicator and leader. Join a Toastmasters club today and start your journey to success. And with that, I'd love to introduce to the show technology enthusiast, Toastmaster member Christopher Williams. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you.
Just start out, like, what first of all, a few questions. What get to know for the fans experience? What got you so much into technology?
Well, it's basically out of necessity. I had one of the first laptops.
I just wanted to play it to where he comes, because I know you couldn't hear him when we were actually recording. But yeah, it's available. You can go listen to that, and appreciate any downloads of my podcast. With that, I can turn it back and wrap up this workshop.
All right, well, thank you, Tommy. Let me come back on video.
I see you on video now.
Okay. Thank you, Tommy, for providing this session for us today. It was a great session. It was a lot of information. Be sure to download the chat. The link for this video, as well as session 1, the first workshop on podcast, has been posted in our chat. It's on the District 50 Leadership Learning webpage. I've also placed in there a feedback link, so please provide us with feedback to let us know how well this session fulfilled your needs, what else it is that you would like to be offered, and what else we can do to improve our sessions. On behalf of our leadership learning, our program quality team, I want to thank Tommy Kenyon for his hard work in providing these sessions. I want to thank Mr. Christopher Williams
Thank you.
for volunteering to do the podcast portion live for this session Now, you're famous now, Chris. Thank you for attending, Deborah, and thank you all for attending tonight's session of Leadership Learning.
Thank all of you so much, and especially you, Tommy. I just continue to learn.